صباح الخير. عناوين اليوم: منصب جديد لإيلون ماسك في تويتر، وسولوشنز تستحوذ على شركة مصرية، وأو 7 ثيرابي تغلق تمويلا جديدا. يا أهلا وسهلا فيكم ببرنامجكم تك بالعربي. معكم أنا هالة بسام، ومعنا بخلف الكواليس علي. خلونا نبدأ أخبارنا التكنولوجية لليوم ونحكي أكيد عن شركة تويتر. قالت شركة تويتر إنها ستعين الملياردير الأمريكي إيلون ماسك عضواً في مجلس إدارتها. وأصبح إيلون ماسك هو الرئيس التنفيذي لشركة تسلا، أكبر مساهم في شركة التواصل الاجتماعي تويتر، بعد شراء حصة تبلغ 9.2% من أسهم الشركة، مما يجعله أكبر مساهم فيها من خارج الشركة. وقال موقع تويتر إنه ولع إيلون ماسك الشديد بأهمية الخدمات اللي بتوفرها المنصة هو بمثابة الصفة اللي بتجعله محل اهتمام الشركة فيما يتعلق بالأعضاء اللي بيشغلوا أحد مقاعد مجلس إدارتها. وستنتهي عضوية إيلون ماسك في هذا المنصب عام 2024. وقد ارتفعت أسهم تويتر بشكل حاد بعد الإعلان عن استحواذ ماسك على نسبة من أسهم هذه المنصة، على الرغم من أنه قد يتم التحقيق في عملية الشراء من قبل لجنة الأوراق المالية والبورصات بسبب عدم كشف الملياردير عن هذه الخطوة خلال الفترة الزمنية المطلوبة اللي بتحددها اللوائح. ويمتلك إيلون ماسك حاليا ما يزيد عن 73.4 مليون سهم في تويتر، يقدر بقيمة تقريبا 2.9 مليار دولار. طبعا كل هذا استنادا إلى سعر إغلاق سهم تويتر يوم الجمعة تحديدا. وكان إيلون ماسك قد انتقد قبل حوالي أسبوعين موقع تويتر، وطلب من متابعيه أيضا على المنصة أن يدلوا برأيهم حول ما إذا كان موقع التواصل الاجتماعي تويتر بيلتزم بمبادئ حرية التعبير أم لا. وأعرب الملياردير الأمريكي إيلون ماسك أيضاً أواخر الشهر الماضي عن رغبته في بناء منصة وسائط اجتماعية جديدة بعيداً عن تويتر. ولكن مثل ما شفنا الآن أصبح الآن يعني صاحب قرار إيلون ماسك في تويتر، ومثل ما شفنا أيضاً غرد لمتابعيه على تويتر واللي هن تقريباً 80 مليون شخص، إذا الناس بدها الأدت بوتن أو زر التعديل وخيار التعديل على تويتر. ورسمياً الآن تويتر قالت إنها عم تختبر هذه الميزة اللي لطالما طال انتظارها، والعديد من المستخدمين يعني طلبوها بشكل كبير من منصة تويتر. أما إذا بدنا ننتقل إلى يعني الشركات وتحديدا في منطقتنا العربية، استحوذت الشركة العربية لخدمات الإنترنت والاتصالات سولوشنز، واللي هي تابعة لمجموعة الاتصالات السعودية STC، على حصة 90% من أسهم شركة جيزة للأنظمة المصرية. كل هذا عبر اتفاقية شراء ملزمة كانت بقيمة 158 مليون دولار. جاء استحواذ الشركة السعودية على جيزة للأنظمة بعد أيام قليلة جدا من إعلان المملكة عن عزمها في استثمار نحو 10 مليارات دولار في مصر خلال الفترة المقبلة. عمر النعماني الرئيس التنفيذي لشركة سولوشنز قال إنه الاستحواذ على شركة جيزة للأنظمة يأتي ضمن الخطط التوسعية لمجموعة STC، ووفق الخطة الاستراتيجية لدى سولوشنز للاستمرار بريادة التحول الرقمي في المملكة العربية السعودية. تعمل جيزة للأنظمة على وتحديدا اللي هي المتخصصة بتقنية المعلومات في أكثر من 25 دولة حول العالم، من ضمنها السعودية، الإمارات العربية المتحدة، أيضا قطر، مصر، الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية أيضا. وأضاف النعماني أنه الاستحواذ على جيزة للأنظمة يؤكد عزمهم على تعزيز ريادة سولوشنز بالأسواق الرقمية مثل الإمارات، مصر وقطر، وأيضا التوسع في أسواق وخطوط أعمال جديدة وتلبية احتياجات العملاء وتوقعات المستثمرين. تحتل سولوشنز صدارة مزودي تقنية المعلومات لقطاع الأعمال في المملكة، وقد بدأت أعمالها منذ أكثر من عقدين حتى الآن، ووفرت خلالها حلول رقمية سواء كان للقطاع الحكومي وحتى القطاع الخاص، وخبرة عالمية اكتسبتها من خلال شراكاتها مع أكثر من 150 شريك عالمي ومحلي أيضاً. أما عن آخر خبر معنا لليوم فنحكي عن الشركات الناشئة والاستثمارات. مؤخراً نجحت منصة التقنية الطبية المصرية O7 Therapy في إغلاق جولة استثمارية سيد بقيمة 2.1 مليون دولار أمريكي بقيادة حكمة فنتشرز، وأيضاً مشاركة لوتس فنتشرز وسي فنتشرز أيضاً. بالإضافة إلى ذلك كان في عدد من المستثمرين الملائكيين. وستوظف المنصة الاستثمار في دعم مضمار الصحة النفسية، وأيضاً مجابهة التحديات اللي بتواجهها مع تطوير منتجاتها لتمكين نموها وتوسيع قاعدة عملائها في مصر تحديداً ومنطقة الشرق الأوسط أيضاً. وتأسست منصة التقنية الطبية O7 Therapy في مصر عام 2019 تحديداً عن طريق أشرف بخيت وأيضاً أشرف عادل ونادر اسكندر، وبتقدم عبر تطبيقها خدمات متخصصة في الصحة النفسية ومجالاتها العلاجية المتنوعة من التقييم الكلينيكي وأيضاً العلاج النفسي الرياضي وحتى العلاج بالفن. كما بتوفر حجوزات عبر الإنترنت مع معالجين نفسيين ضمن بيئة آمنة جداً عالية الخصوصية تعتمد على تقنيات تشفير البيانات وفقاً للمنصة. طبعاً هذا الأمر مهم جداً وحساس جداً تحديداً في الأمور المتعلقة بالصحة النفسية والطب بشكل عام، أمر الخصوصية. فما بالكم أنه هي من أحد الأمور اللي بيتم نقاشها في مواقع التواصل الاجتماعي وفي عالم الديجيتال والعالم الإلكتروني. هذه كانت كل أخبارنا الصباحية لليوم. خليكم معنا بعد الفاصل مقابلتنا مع نيكل ناندا مدير العمليات في Innovations Group في الحديث عن مستقبل الوظائف. خليكم معنا ولا تروحوا لبعيد. And we're back with our guest, Nikhil Nanda, Operations Manager at Innovations Group. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting.
Today, we really want to talk about the future of employment, and especially there are so many hot topics right now, like metaverse, things like that. But first, can you tell us more? You deal with employment a lot, and can you tell us more about the services you guys provide in Innovations Group?
Sure. So essentially, we have two major services. It starts with recruitment and then flows into outsourcing. So on the recruitment side, you're classic, we source people, we find the right talent for the right job. And then once we're able to identify the right employer for the right candidate, we move into the visa processing where we manage their HR, manage their payroll. And because we do it for over 10,000 people, we're very efficient at it. So it becomes easier for the candidate. There's a set process, there's a lot of automation. So we know all the right principles to be able to manage HR across multiple different industries.
How do you manage to actually get the right candidate for the right?
So it's a combination of a lot of things. One is obviously, we've done a lot of positions over the last 20 years. So sometimes these positions actually repeat a lot. But like you said, there's so many new things happening in the world. And then when there are newer positions, we kind of, resort to various job boards, various databases. We call people into the office for open exhibition. And we just tend to meet a lot of people day in, day out. We have a dedicated recruitment team. If they're not working on mandates, then they're just going to be meeting people every minute of every day.
That's interesting. And what about COVID and the pandemic? How did it affect you guys? And did you see any trends actually?
We saw a lot of trends. One was a lot of employee well-being came into play, which was really good for the entire market.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you see now, people are working remotely, people sometimes are working from a different country, and employers are okay with it. Employees are gaining a lot of satisfaction from that, which is great because a happy employee will always lead to more productivity.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure we all agree with that, right?
100%.
Yeah. So we saw that. Also, we saw a lot of trends in terms of the hiring culture,
Mm-hmm.
because face-to-face meetings weren't happening as much. A lot of assessments were automated. So you would just kind of do a test online, or you would answer a few questions and you suddenly get the job. And it became a lot more streamlined. So employers were actually able to hire a lot faster. And that's how it also helped the outsourcing industry grow, because we were able to implement these practices for our employers, saying that we have set assessments, we have set questions, we have set ratings for each employee or each candidate. So it's easier for employers to kind of just assess them on an unbiased version rather than a face-to-face conversation.
That's interesting. And do you think you said hiring fast? Do you believe in hiring fast, firing fast as well?
No, of course not. I mean, the last thing you ever want to do is fire an employee. I'm sure anyone will agree that it's the toughest conversation you have to have. But hiring fast is just becoming faster and faster and faster. Even if you see all our clients these days, or any employer, nobody is really willing to wait 45 days anymore, like 60 days or 30 days even. Everyone wants, someone to join immediately, because the pace at which the work is going is so much faster. Like you said, there's so many new technologies, so many new advancements in the markets, that employers are really requiring people at a much quicker rate.
Yeah.
I don't have the time to wait 30 to 45 days. There must be a project on hold or something that's not happening as a result of that wait.
And you guys are big on outsourcing. How does that help businesses, especially here in the UAE?
So it helps with almost three things, I would say. One is cost, because you're expected to hire quicker, because you're expected to find more specialized talent. The cost of hiring is actually quite high. And you want to kind of keep your internal department focused on maybe your core positions. But then you have such a large amount of volume positions through attrition or through new hires that need to be filled, which your core team can't manage on a day-to-day basis. So as a result, outsourcing really helps bring that cost down, allows employers to be able to hire at a much faster rate, and then also obviously able to kind of reduce their own in-house team, because sometimes there are trends where, say in the winter, I need to hire a lot more. I can't just hire recruiters in my in-house team to tackle that influx, right? I need to be able to outsource that, because like you said, then hiring more means firing more, and no employer wants to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of like automation happening in general, like in the workforce. What do you think that will affect the skills of the employees and also like wages as well?
So automation will bring a few things to the table. The first being that generalists, I mean, if you see your general jobs with very little specialization, those are going to be a lot more volume driven. But specialist positions where people have a core specialization in a field, that is going to actually end up being, their wages are going to increase. Because what is happening is, although the automation is taking care of your, your processes, your workflows, there is a large amount of governance that's required for that automation, and a large amount of specialization. So those positions will actually be much more in demand, and also, result in a much higher wage.
Yeah, 100%. We were talking about the metaverse and the new world, the new virtual world. How will that affect talent? Will we see people hiring people there? We're already seeing a lot of things happening in the cryptocurrency market. Like for instance, Binance they have an open role actually just recently here in Dubai, and things like that. So tell us more. What do you think this will affect?
So the metaverse, everyone's obviously focusing on the amount of jobs and talent required to create this new internet, which obviously will be there. You'll need a lot of designers, you'll need a lot of developers, you'll need a lot of data scientists. All these positions are going to be there. But what's actually going to be really interesting is once the usage and the involvement within the metaverse increases, even your day-to-day jobs like financial advisors, property brokers, lawyers, all these within the metaverse are going to open up. In the metaverse, if I'm looking to buy property, I'm still going to want a property advisor, right? Yeah. So although we're thinking on the tech side right now, slowly as it becomes bigger and more people are involved, it's actually going to open your day-to-day jobs as well. So I might be a broker selling a plot, on the palm, but then also I'm in the metaverse helping my clients as well. So I think that's
it's very
cool.
Interesting, honestly, because as you said, we're building it right now. There are so many roles to build the metaverse and everything there. And we've seen like banks like HSBC, they opened a branch in the metaverse. We're seeing also restaurants there, as you said, real estate, and people started investing already. So what's your advice for people who have a full-time job right now? How can they tackle the metaverse?
So honestly, the first step would actually be to learn and research a little more on how it's structured. There are a lot of different structures to the metaverse, a lot of different NFTs that are also involved in terms of, how you make transactions, how things are valued, how things are even created. So I think first would be to actually learn those structures, and then would be to say, hey, can I actually apply my existing job or my existing talent or my existing skill into that field? And, when would that kind of kick in? So it's all like everything in life is also about timing.
For sure.
So, if you kind of go in too early saying, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer in the metaverse now, maybe it's too early for that. But
there's no demand for it maybe
exactly.
Right now.
So identifying when your role is really going to kick in, I think would be a huge point. And I think right now as creators, innovators, designers, entrepreneurs, it's prime for that.
And we've seen, by the way, even during COVID and post the pandemic, a lot of people are saying, and so many studies, that a lot of people will resign this year and start their own thing and things like that. What's your, what do you think of that?
So in terms of resigning and starting your own thing, being an entrepreneur, at least in my opinion, is always worth the risk. It really, again, depends on timing. If you're financially secure, if you have, you know, belief and confidence in your ability, then nothing should hold you back from, you know, achieving your dream or doing what you want to do. So it's a very fine line between making sure you have the stability to be able to afford and provide for what you want to do, and then also be saying, where are you in your job role? What is your job growth? You know, there always will be a time where you reach a kind of peak or a plateau in your job.
Yeah.
And that's essentially when people think of resigning and doing their own thing. But again, it's really on the individual and how confident they are in their ability, whether there's an opportunity, whether there's a partnership. These things kind of happen in your life and you got to grab that moment. So
100%. And maybe also like one trend we're seeing is the creator economy is growing and becoming bigger and bigger as well. So we're seeing a lot of people who are just want to be individuals, especially as you said, during COVID, so many people were working from home, working remotely, and they had so many opportunities open up for them, which we did not see that before, because we were required from 9 to 6 to be in the office and to do the certain job and everything. Now it's a bit more flexible, actually.
yeah, surely. I mean, you have the opportunity now to kind of do multitask, right? You get to do two things at once finally. You don't have to. And there was a lot of times in, you know, in your office culture where you were sitting 9 to 6, but you were kind of sitting there and saying that, do I really need to be here? I've kind of finished my work, you know, why do I need to be here? So I think that whole idea that, you know, if you're done and if you're being productive, then why not apply your mind to multiple things rather than being so focused in one thing? It gives you the ability to broaden your thinking.
Of course. And there are certain jobs that automation and the new trends really scare the people who are in them. So what do you think of that? Do those people need to change their mindset, their skill set, or even be more specialized, as you said, because that will be in demand in the future?
Yeah. So I mean, we've done a lot of automation and innovations as well. We've done a lot of RPA, a lot of AI, and you know, our processes and workflows are completely automated to the point where I had a couple of times where my employees would come up to me and say, hey, you know, are you going to get rid of our jobs and then you're going to get rid of us? And I said, absolutely not. This is only to make you more efficient, because I think the biggest challenge for employees right now is or even managers is that they want to resist the change. But if you actually take the time to accept the change and learn as to how to guide the process automation, how to make it more efficient, how to potentially make it faster or deliver better results, you will actually not be you will not lose your job as a result of automation. You'll actually be promoted. Because you'll be able to control the automation rather than fall prey to the automation.
100%. And innovations itself, you guys have been here for ages, and it wasn't automated before.
Correct.
Right? Like it was traditional way of hiring and everything. Now everything is more into tech, and it's more efficient. And cost efficient, I'm sure.
It is. It's more cost efficient. And also, we've seen that no matter how much we automate, it's not that our employees will ever lose a job as the automation. It's actually resulting in them moving to a larger team, a better team, a more specialized team, like you said. So we're trying to create specialization by saying, hey, let the automation do the mundane work and let's apply the human element to, you know, everything else and see how we can grow and become more efficient as a system.
100%. Thank you so much for being with us.
For sure.
And hopefully we'll see you in the metaverse one day.
Yeah, I know. I'd love to. We're going to start outsourcing that.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all of you who were with us. And شكرا لكل الناس اللي تابعتنا. بشوفكم بكرة بنفس الموعد. نهاركم سعيد جميعا.